Hi everybody, my name is Christian Knightley. I worked at the Freedom Cafe over the summer, and this is going to be a review of my experience at the Freedom Cafe. My mentor was Brian Bissett, and let's get into it. So I'd like you all to pay attention to the words on the screen. It says, ending human trafficking, one conscious cup at a time. That's our slogan. If you've been to our cafe or if you've seen our bright red sign on the street, you've probably read that before. I didn't think much about it until one day I was making a latte, as I've done many times, and I read it to myself. And then I read it again, and then I thought over it and I read it, and I realized how important that was, especially that last part, one conscious cup at a time. And I think that's the main purpose of the cafe, because it's taking something massive, something huge like human trafficking, something that happens in all counties of New Hampshire, all countries in the world, all over the place, massive, millions of people. Something that is daunting to an individual, something that if somebody was to look at it and confront it, they'd have no idea what to do. The cafe comes in by taking something so small, something habitual, getting a cup of coffee. Most people, especially us New Englanders, get coffee every single morning. So being able to take something habitual and making it a force for good is one of the best things you can have. And that's why I believe the cafe is so important, because it serves as a medium from the individual to take on the massive scale of the issue at hand. So going into some background of the cafe, and I'd like to preface this with the idea and the dream of the Freedom Cafe started before there was a brick and mortar location and long before I came along. I stand on the shoulders of giants. There are many people who put in so much hard work before me. I kind of came in when things were getting a little easier, so please take what I accomplished with a little grain of salt. But the actual brick and mortar locations, there were two of them. There was one in UMass Amherst, and then there was one in Durham. They were both chugging along very well. The UMass Amherst location was incredibly popular. 8 years went by, and COVID hit, and that really tanked everything. The Amherst location unfortunately had to shut down. The dreams of a lot of people were inhibited there a little bit. But if you look at this photo here from the Amherst location, and if you've been into our location now in Durham, you'll see there's a lot of equipment here from the Amherst location that was donated to the Durham location. So while it was awful that the Amherst location shut down, this provided a springboard for the Durham location to really flourish. We recently moved, well, not recently, about 2 years ago now, we moved to a new location on Main Street, and it has been absolutely amazing for us. We're super happy about it. Going into my personal journey with the cafe, like a lot of other people here, my journey did not start just with the summer internship. I started in September of my sophomore year. I was just a shift supervisor. The job was referred to me by a family friend. I interviewed with Brian. I started. And honestly, I started because it was a job and it paid me money, and that's all I really cared about at the time. I didn't think all that much into the human trafficking side of things. But that's when I really got to know Brian. I was trained and mentored and educated by Brian. This is him here. This is him giving a TEDx talk actually in Portsmouth. Really good speech. I recommend watching it. But Brian was the one who really got me very invested in the human trafficking side of things. And I started dedicating more and more of my time, and eventually he offered me the internship, and I was ecstatic at the idea of it. After that, I moved to Durham full time. I'm in an apartment here now, so I'm in walking distance from the cafe, and it really took off from there. So looking at the internship, we had a general summer itinerary here. We wanted to get renovations and improvements done. That was the biggest piece. We were gonna have to shut down for a week, a lot of money, a lot of issues. So that was our big goal to get done over the summer. We also had New Hampshire Gives, which was a huge fundraiser that we were really hoping for to perform well on. Spoiler alert, we did. Thank you all very much. We wanted to streamline our MOs, our modes of operation. You have a cafe. We have a lot of people moving in and out, a lot of volunteers. Having standard operating procedures that people can just look at, understand, and have it ready to go in a database is going to be huge. Rather than having to take time to personally train every single person that comes in, being able to give people standard practices that we use is definitely going to save us a lot of time and save us a lot of money in the long run. We also have training videos and documentation to go along with that, whole binders, databases of recipes, practices, general housekeeping stuff, also incredibly important. We also wanted to focus on R&D and marketing, getting new ideas for new drinks, options, and marketing, just pushing our message out there. We're kind of a little off campus for a little bit, so other coffee shops are a little bit closer. Some people may not even know the cafe exists. So what we want to do is take what we have and bring it to the actual campus to get people to come and see us. Also, we were doing some onboarding of new staff and new volunteers. Challenges and boundaries that we were facing: we are a nonprofit. We have a lot of volunteers, and it's wonderful, and I love working with all the volunteers. However, it would be a lot simpler to have a bunch of paid staff who always know what they're doing, but we also believe very firmly in the volunteer focus, and I wouldn't get rid of it for anything, really. But it comes with its own challenges, as you can assume. We also have financial liabilities. We're a small cafe, we're a small business. We just had finished some other major purchases as well, paying off fridges, getting new equipment, seating. There's a lot going on. We also had to deal with the fact that we had decreased revenue, decreased traffic during the summer months. There's just a lot less people in Durham. We also had less staff available, less people, less staff. Makes sense. And then of course the problem that's going on with everything in food service right now. Continually rising prices of everything. Everything's expensive. Going into what I actually achieved this summer and what we achieved as a cafe, personally I got done I completed all the recipes, the standard operating procedures database. We did a lot with outreach, which was really fun. We're going to be involved in the UNH food crawl at the start of the year, which we're really happy about. We're working closely now with Tideline down by the landing. They're fantastic. We're going to be there every month as well. I highly recommend you go. We overperformed with what we were expecting with New Hampshire Gives. Super happy about that. We were looking to get $15,000 and we went over that. We were just shocked and overjoyed by that. We also completed renovations. There is more to come, so do stay tuned. I also got to do a ton of recording of videos, transcripts. This is definitely going to help with easier onboarding of new staff and volunteers. We'll be able to train some more people as well. The cafe also remains sustainable, i.e. meaning we weren't going to the red financially. Our margins are razor thin. For a while there was a lot of grants coming in and out helping us, but we were super proud of the fact that we were able to remain sustainable for most of the previous school year, and we've stayed that way, which we're really happy about. We also reorganized cafe leadership, increased accountability for junior staff, as well as volunteers. It's just gonna help better communication and have less things fall through the cracks. This is just a little before and after renovations. If you haven't seen the place yet since renovations, I highly recommend coming down to see it. I think it looks great. We did a lot, it was a lot of work, but it was a ton of fun. We had a ton of volunteers come out and help, and it looks great. We also did a lot with marketing. We transitioned one of our counter staff to social media manager, and she has just been fantastic. We've been doing photo shoots. We have been, publishing new products. It's been absolutely great having somebody who can focus on that. And not to toot my own horn, but all these photos were taken by me. Thank you. I hope you're all thirsty and hungry because of that. That's what I was trying to go with. There's a lot that goes into food styling. Now into the numbers. This chart up here, so it's our yearly gross sales. There's a bit of a discrepancy between this year and the previous year. That's because the year hasn't completed yet, so please do take that with a grain of salt, with the grand totals at the end of this. But the blue bars is this year, and it goes month by month. And then to the right of the blue bars is a gray bar, and that was last year. So as you can see, month over month compared to last year, we are pulling anywhere from 10% better to practically double what we were making last year, and that is huge. And we expect that to continue into the new school year. So it's going to get busy really, really quickly. So this whole summer has been spent preparing for that. Things are changing very rapidly. We're getting a lot of new things, a lot of new investment in the cafe, and we're getting a lot of new people. So we're super excited. With that, of course, the challenge is our razor-thin margins. It's difficult. In food service in general, business is difficult in Durham in general, but when you are a small business that uses strictly ethical brands that tend to be more expensive, unfortunately, you have the donation system in which we calculate a price based off of labor and materials, but people choose to pay whatever they wish. Some people pay more, some people pay less. That makes things variable for us. And of course, compostable, reusable things, they always get more expensive the more and more you use them. And of course, Durham, there's a lot of competition in Durham, difficult market to get into, as you can tell by the frequent amount of businesses that come in and out. But with everything speeding up, we have a lot of big things coming, a lot of things in the pipe. We're having increased capacity investment. We're going to get bar-style seating, new push doors as well. That's going to legally increase the capacity that we're allowed to have in the cafe, which we're super excited about. Still has to go through the Durham Historical Society, so we'll see what they have to say. We're also getting a new POS system, and that's going to allow us to take online orders. And if any of you people know anything about young people, it's they don't want to talk to people. So if you can just put a coffee on a little table for them that they pay for ahead of time, they just sneak in the door and grab it, they're happy. And I'm happy for that as well. Do what you want to do. We're also hoping to get more staff and volunteers. We always get a new influx of volunteers at the beginning of the school year, which is always super encouraging, and we're really happy to see it. Tons of people from the university, the high school, Durham locals, it's great. Yeah, and hopefully we're anticipating sales to increase by roughly 30 to 40%, hopefully higher, but we'll take what we can get. It looks great thus far, but we're really excited. We're also hoping to increase our advertising, increase our campus presence, get our name, get our message, get our products out to the campus, and get more people coming in, because the whole cafe is a community space, and we want to bring people together like that in a shared goal of ending human trafficking and drinking good coffee. Thank you all for listening. I'd like to thank the Freedom Cafe. I'd like to thank Brian specifically. He has been fantastic throughout all of this. I'd like to thank the University of New Hampshire. I'd like to thank the Small Family Fellowship. I'd like to thank Emily here. This whole experience has been fantastic, and thank you all for listening, and have a great day.